And now, up next is the Voices for Acting class. Please welcome the not-so-25-year-old, but with 25 years experience and more, the talented Murray Todd, powered by Saga.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hi. Oh, I do like that music very much. Thank you very much. How are you all? Are you good? Nice to see you. Thank you for inviting me, Voice Factory. I really appreciate it. Always enjoy an opportunity to come and spread some knowledge and maybe some, I don't know, tips, tricks for aspiring voice artists. I just want to check for the audience here, people that I'm speaking to. I mean, obviously I know the people in the front. Who are we sort of all aspiring voice artists, producers, radio personality type? Yes. Okay, cool. And are you getting training of any sort? Is it, and through where? Through at the university here, or private, self-taught, like me? Good. Best way to do it. Okay, let me just quickly give you a quick CV, tell you who I am. I started my career in musical theatre back in 1996. Then I moved into TV, did a couple of movies, still do all that sort of stuff. My entry into the voice industry was last. The reason for that being was back when I started, the voice industry was dominated by about 4 guys. Pretty much. It was very difficult. The barriers to entry were very difficult. There was no internet. So my first foray into trying to get voice work, I recorded a bunch of demos and then I burnt them onto a CD, compact disc, and then I drove around to all the agencies, Ogilvy and Mather, TBWA, all the ad agencies I could get hold of in what was then a yellow pages. It was printed. Thank you. I'm like, yes is here. Yes, all good. But there was no Google. There was no internet, and I managed to get all the addresses from them. And I got in my car and I drove around and dropped them off with each producer that I could, if I could get through the front door, and I would put them in their hand and say to them, "Hi there. My name is Murray Todd." The reason why I'm telling you this is that if you are going to be successful as a voice artist, you need to have one thing. Okay. When I'm going to talk about voice acting, I think the balance is slightly different in terms of skill and talent and hustle. But the one thing you need to have is hustle. Hustle, hustle, hustle. If you're going to rely on just your agent to get you the work, you're going to wait for a long time for that phone to ring, okay? You need to be dialing the phone, not waiting for it to ring you. Okay, it's the most important thing. It's the most important piece of advice I'm going to leave you with today. It's your hustle, your hustle, your hustle. Every single day. I never stop. I make demos. I make skills montages. I put my latest work. I put it out there, put it up, put it out there, put it out there. Don't just rely on social media pages. Make sure you have a website of your own, so that you can point people to there. If you're going to be doing email marketing like I do, if you're going to be getting in touch with people, make sure that they have somewhere to go and listen to you and only you. It's all well and good being on sites where there's, where you can get free advertising, like Voice Me, fantastic. Andrew's going to talk about Voice Me after me, I think. It's great to be there, but you are one of many on there as well, right? It's a great avenue to market, it really is. A lot of people get pointed there, but if you're going to be doing your own hustle and your own marketing, make sure that you've got somewhere to point them to you and you alone, and that you keep updated, okay? And nowadays, websites are very easy to build, simple, and very simple to maintain, and you can keep them, going. Okay, let me talk about voice acting, I suppose. I was afforded the opportunity of being the voice director, the South African voice director, with another a South African artist on Kizazi Moto. Did you guys watch any of that? The animated movies, the short animated movies from across Africa, which won multiple awards. So let's talk about animation. Animation voicing, yeah. It's a very, very vibrant, very, very fruitful industry in South Africa. There are a couple of animation studios that you need to take note of, Triggerfish being one of them, Lumo Animation, they're down in Cape Town. But also, I would encourage you to do this. Type into Google, Animation Studios, Johannesburg, Animation Studios, Cape Town. Get what their addresses are, and give them a call if you have to. Another thing that I think is very, very important, especially when it comes to castings for animation and anything like that, it always helps to have an agent. The agent generally gets sent the briefs. So if you're with an agency, and it's particularly an agency that has a very vibrant voice division, then you will get those briefs and you will get sent the auditions that you can take. You can send in your auditions. Another thing that's quite important, that has become important since COVID, you must try and have a facility in your house or somewhere to record. Because oftentimes you will get an audition piece, and sometimes a client will want to hear your voice, and it's always good if you've got professional recording equipment, not on your phone. It doesn't sound good, and recording equipment has become very, very cheap now. You know what I mean? The entry to get your voice voice equipment, you can spend 3,000 Rand on a really good microphone, broadcast quality microphone. And I think COVID sped that up for us. We were sort of always. Before that, voice artists would get invited to a studio, and you'd be sitting with 12 creatives, and not really hectic to do. But now it's changed a lot. You get briefs via email, and you can do it. You do it at home. I found when I first was still busy padding out my booth that I've got in my house, the back of my car. Cars are a very, 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 very cool soundproofing. If you find a little quiet driveway, I made a little contraption that I could sit in the back seat, and I was recording in my car. Sometimes I do that on the fly too. If someone wants something really, really quickly, I have a little USB microphone, and I have that in my car. Because speed is quick, man. There are lots and lots of people that you're competing with. So your entry into, and you know what I mean, top of mind. So your hustle is also important. I email producers, creatives every 3 months. Pop here. I never get hammered for it, but nonetheless. And I do ask them at the end and say, listen, if you'd like me to take you off your list, no one ever does that. But you stay top of mind. Because often people will get distracted and they'll be doing something else, and then they'll forget that you even exist. I sent out, it was about 3 months ago, and I sent out a mailer with my latest work, and one of the people replied, oh, it's always nice to hear a fresh new voice. I was like, I've been doing this for 25 years, man. I'm not a fresh new voice. But anyway, that was one of the replies that I got. But it was cool. It opened up a conversation. I was like, we could have a chat. So, animation. So animation, it's a very viable, very vibrant part of our industry. It really is up and coming, particularly the stuff that Triggerfish are doing, with a focus on African stories and African animation with an African voice, which is obviously very important. The other thing that I could talk about, acting-wise, voiceover acting, dubbing. There's a lot of dubbing. If you can manage it, I don't have the patience for it. I've tried a few times. It's not necessarily the best paid, but if you are starting in the industry, the best advice I can give you is practice. I started recording my own voice back when I was 4 years old. I used to get it, back then there were tape recorders. Anyone not know what a tape recorder is? With a cassette tape. And I used to have to get a new cassette recorder every Christmas because I'd broken them, and I kept recording and playing back. Because the biggest thing that I don't know if you found this yet, for those of you who have recorded professionally, is the first time you hear your voice back, it's like, I don't sound like that, do I? Yes, you do. You need to get used to that. So the more you do it and the more you play back, and now obviously you've got your phone, it's great, you can record into it. And I would encourage you, as much as Noni did as well, thanks so much for dressing up like us. I came in, I'm like, my goodness, but another thing is to multi-skill. I write copy, I produce radio ads for clients, I voice them myself, I get other voices in, so multi-skill. Practice writing. Write your own material, record your own material, and make sure that you add your own unique voice to it. Okay, but create your own stuff. And if you can help it, when you are recording it, particularly for any clients and agencies, besides the moody, all that sort of stuff, try and make it funny. They like laughing. You know what I mean? They really do. And there are a lot of copywriters out there who, lack a lot of imagination, so you can definitely help them with your own copywriting skills. So I would say, if you can, multi-skill. Don't just focus on this. The writing, the hustling, the networking, it's all equally important, okay? Yeah, there are a lot of dubbing studios. Dubbing is very, very popular. Not necessarily that well paid, but at least you're in front of a microphone and you're practicing. So there are lots of dubbing studios. Again, you'll have to Google. There are a few that I know. There's one called Ear Candy. Ear Candy are probably the biggest in Johannesburg. So yeah, you might want to give them a shout. But what I will say is, particularly with that as well, is that you must try and focus on getting an agent, a theatrical agent. Okay, ideally someone who's with the PMA. That's the Personal Managers Association. They kind of have an association with one another, and they all kind of get the same briefs. So if you're not with an agency, generally the acting voice type roles, you're not going to get exposed to them if you're not with an acting agency. Okay. So yeah. Anyone here? Are you represented yet? Not yet. Okay. Good luck. That's all I can say. I remember when I first started in the industry, I got turned down by every single agency that I went to go see. Moon Yin Lee was the first one. Oh, she was brutal. Dear old Moon Yin, who became a really good friend later on down the line, but nonetheless. So the first 4 agents I went to go see, I just knocked on their door. I was like, hi, I'm Murray. Don't have a drama degree, but I've been singing and acting since I was 6. I think I can make it. So, can we sit down and have a chat? And they all sat down, and, there was beautiful Penny Charters back there. You're very blonde and you're very South African. I was like, well, of course I'm South African. It's where I'm from, you dingbat. Anyway. But yeah, and then I managed to get an agency that was sort of, 4th rung, and then we moved up a bit now, and I've been with my family now, contractors for like the last 25 years. But all I can tell you is it was all on my own back. It was all my own hustle. Simple as that. It's the biggest thing I can leave you with. HUSTLE, hustle. Okay. Are there any questions? Sure. Hi, Lavela. Is it Lavela? Well, I can, yes. I'm only 51. Yes, fine you.
Fantastic. Thanks for being here. It's awesome.
Pleasure.
So I work in television.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
And so I wanted to know if in the voice space,
yes,
there is a similar thing which you all go straight to like PMA stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Most of the PMA agents will have a very active voice division. It's become a very important part of their business. There's Intertalent. Intertalent are mainly voice. They do some theatrical movie things, but Intertalent, yeah, they're a particular voice agency. So a lot of the top guys are there. I was part of, just contract when I first started in the industry as a professional voice artist. We kind of developed our voice division together. So we were both, I was hustling as much as the agent as my agents were, and building up a database, etc. So yeah, there are. But I would suggest that in terms of representation, that you stick to a PMA type agency. The lower ones probably won't have a voice division. They won't have a clue what you're talking about, actually. No, not generally, no. Like I say, Intertalent are the ones who focus mainly on voice. They also have a theatre, some of their people do go out and do, but otherwise, yeah, there's OSM Talent, there's Contractors, Artist Connection, Thespians, yeah, those, Gaynor as well. Elysian Management, yes, yeah, and then Bonnie's, that's Elysian and Bonnie, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, pleasure, absolutely. Any other questions? Yes. Aha. How are you? Good, thank you.
I just wanted to know, in terms of the hustling, how do you kind of work around maybe because of the agencies, you can't rely on them only.
Yes.
How do you kind of work around them and try to find your own clients? Like, who do you try to mentor? Like, try to find the limitations?
Yeah, so it's mainly so the copywriters, the producers, the radio and TV producers. If you go onto their website, you'll find out who these people are, and then you can just give them a call and say, "Can I send you through my stuff?" You can get hold of Triggerfish. Tell them that you're available? Can you send through some stuff? Can you be put on their mailing list for any particular potential auditions that are coming up? But I will say that they generally tend to, particularly with any kind of proper acting gigs, they will generally go through an agent. They will send it through an agent because then they'll know that they're getting a certain level and a tier of performers. People who have got a proven track record. And it's a bit of a catch-22 because well, how do I get a proven track record if you won't take me on? Yes, I know. You just got to keep going, man. Keep knocking. I can't tell you any better than that. That's all I can tell you. And then there's also, don't forget that there are many facets to the business. It's not just TV and radio commercials. There's e-learning. There's a corporate narration is massive. I just did a whole big session this morning before coming here. That's, and I think your acting skills definitely will come into play there because you're narrating something about a little device like I did this morning that takes the temperature of the petrol inside a petrol station. But nonetheless, you have to make that sound interesting. So your acting skills, light, shade, tonality, all that sort of stuff, when you're narrating a 3.5 video about something that takes the temperature of petrol in a petrol station, you can imagine, So your acting techniques are something that you always employ. But what I will say is this as well, is not necessarily, all actors don't necessarily make good voice artists. They definitely don't. It's a very separate skill. It has its own... It's its own organism. I've worked with plenty of actors who are terrible voice artists because they think, oh, I'm an actor, I can be a voice artist. No, it takes practice. Practice. I cannot say it enough. Practice. Like I hardly ever have the radio on in the car. I talk to myself all the time. And it's accent work in particular. You're hearing yourself, you practice. Don't think these are things that are easy. You know what I mean? Everyone says to me, oh, I can do an American accent because you think you hear it all the time on the radio. Trust me, the American accent is one of the most difficult accents out there to do. It really is. It's not easy, But practice it. Keep listening to yourself. That's all I can tell you. The best advice I can give you. Xantha, yes. Please don't ask me any questions about procedural, mechanical. I have no idea what that was. Please don't do that.
Okay, so I'm just wondering now, let's see, we've narrowed down the agents we're looking for. We've narrowed down the people we've reached out. What do we send them? How do we set up
Phone, give them a call, first up. Find out what they might require from the meeting. And then get recording. So get out, have a look. Go search for some voice artist websites. See what they've got on there and prep it and make it yourself. Yeah. And I would say, definitely write your own stuff. Yeah. Okay. Try not to be too brand specific about anything. Okay. Yes. Yeah. From my theatrical agent. I was lucky. I did some cabaret out at a school somewhere, and there was the lady invited an agency for me. So that's another good sort of avenue to take. If you're performing anywhere, you're doing anything, try and get them to come and see you. Okay, and then I was very lucky with my contractor's family. I got into a musical, and she was my stage manager on that. I went overseas, and when I came back, she started the agency, and so I've been with them since the beginning. It's luck, but you make your own luck. You've got to be in front of these people, and you've got to be, you've got to have these conversations, okay? And you've just got to keep trying. Don't give up. Always believe that you're going to succeed, okay? Best advice I can give you. Like I say, I didn't go to I went to this university, but I did a degree in economics. But I always knew from the age of 6, I've been on stage singing and dancing and doing all my life. So I knew that I was just going to get that so that I could give it a go. And my mother said to me, cool, I'm going to give you 6 months. Let's see how you go. So that was it, man. I hit the road, knocked on doors, phoned people up. Went into their offices, barged into the offices, say, please, can I have a chat to you? And I got turned down left, right, and center all the time. I heard more no's than I heard yeses. And that's still carrying on to today. Yeah. Anything else? Yes. Yes. Which one do I prefer?
Which one do you feel like is better?
Yeah, well, I love all of it. I really do. But I think, now that I've got to a certain age, I prefer the narration stuff because it pays better. Simple as that. It really does. Yeah. And it can be lucrative, eh? You get it right. Trust me. It's a good business, but it's competitive, man. You got to stay on top of it all the time. Can't let it slip. But that's passion, right? If you're passionate about it, you'll never let it slip. Right. Any other questions? Yes, one more, and then we're going to wrap up. Yes.
Good morning once again to everybody.
Yeah, of course. You've got a great voice here. Cool.
So you spoke a little bit about the education. My background is always in high school education, currently a principal. So what I've found is that a lot of parents and a lot of learners want their set works in audiobook format. Right. And especially at the school that I'm currently principal at, we've got English and Zulu there. And you don't actually find, this is why I was so appreciative of the previous speaker and saying that you must find your voice and work in your language to speak it. But have you found in your professional experience that there are companies venturing into this area of producing audiobooks and audio works for the Central for South African curriculum, whether it's private schools or public schools? Yeah,
they do. They have their own in-house, especially the private schools. They have their own in-house teams, so they're producing it themselves. AI has become a big bugbear as well, right? If you go out there, some of that. But my feeling is this, is that the people who are going to use AI for their voiceovers, for their products, are the guys who are going to pay you shit anyway. Do you know what I mean? And we're very fortunate here in South Africa, is that AI hasn't quite got our accent right yet. Much like most actors. So we're very fortunate. So, well, that's it. Yeah, so I've got to go. No more questions. Thank you very, very much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.